Hey everybody, Goosebumps for Dummies, back at it again with another book review, this time reviewing my first Black Spine, Night of a Thousand Claws. Now this one is notorious for being a pretty rough Black Spine, and also the cover's atrocious for the most part. I kind of like the lighthouse in the background. By the way, that's a quite unique thing about the book is the lighthouse. I've never seen that in a Goosebumps book since like sort of Headless Ghost, I think. This is my first Black Spine review, like I said, and yeah, I thought I'd start off with a controversial one. So, let's see what I think of this book. And now for the blurb. Feeling claustrophobic? Really? You arrived at Cat K Island, that's a weird name, today. And it's already a catastrophe. Catastrophe, so funny. You should have listened to your cab driver's warning, never go outside after dark. But your brother Sam has disappeared, and it's up to you to save him. And yourself, from hundreds of evil mutant cats dying to get their claws on you, and from Katrina the Catwoman, who wants to make you, or your parents, the next keeper of cats. Yeah, this choice is yours. I don't fucking care. Anyways. This one isn't actually that bad. Surprisingly, I went in with low expectations, and it started off pretty fucking rough, to be fair. But as I read, I realized, no, this one isn't actually that bad in my opinion. I actually thought this one was okay, or rather fine. This is still a weaker GYG, if I'm being honest here. But it's not like, 4 out of 10, 3 out of 10, even 2 out of 10 territory. It's actually a bit higher than that, a decent amount at least. And yeah, I don't think this is a bad Black Spine by any means, or a bad book. It's actually decent overall, but it has some, of course, up and down qualities that I can kind of understand. And, I don't think the hate is deserved, really. So let's get into what I actually liked about the book. First off, I immediately have to commend this book for the uniqueness of its concept and plot in general. So, this island that they're on is completely infested with cats, and these cats are the rulers of the island when nighttime comes around. They will prowl around, and you do not want to get in their hair, because things can turn really bad. There's some invisibility stuff, very, very rarely used in the book, but it's there, involving the cat's hair, I believe. There's also something about light, which is really cool. And there's just a lot of interesting stuff about these cats. There's also, of course, like I said earlier, the keeper of cats. That is Katrina. And, it's just very, very interesting. There's a lot of unique stuff I haven't seen here in a lot of Goosebumps books, especially GYGs. And yeah, it's very adventurous, it's very interesting, and I think it's well done. Not, like, fantastically, but it's well done. Like, it's good. It could have been better, could have been worse. They just did a fine job at executing such a concept. And if you want to see a live-action execution of this concept, look no further than a Scooby-Doo movie that came out only a couple months after this, I believe, in the same year. Yeah, that movie is fucking identical. It takes place on an island, it's infested by cats, and it may or may not have a very similar twist. You're looking at it. Yeah, my next huge upside for the book is actually a consistent quality of the endings. None of them were actually, like, genuinely terrible. I actually think they were all at least goodish for the most part. They were all on the same level. Like, I would give them all, if I was on a rating scale, like a 5 or a 6 out of 10. None of them were really bad. None of them were really fantastic. It was a decent, consistent quality. I respect that. My next upside of the book is actually one specific moment from the book. Animatronics. Yes, shut the fuck up. Anyways, there are robot taxidermy things, statues of cats, I believe, different prehistoric cats, and I think maybe more creatures, but either way, the main one's a fucking tiger, and it's a very brutal, very metal scene, I'd even say, and I really, really like that scene. I hadn't seen many robot animals in Goosebumps, like, ever. Maybe Cave Creatures has that, but I haven't read it, so I wouldn't know. No spoilers, of course, because I don't know. And, yeah, it's quite interesting to see robot animals in here, and it's a very metal scene, like I said. I quite like that scene. And another actual highlight from the book, this is my final upside, by the way, because this book had some very, very awesome highlights, is the actual scene at the top, the lighthouse, as you can see. The back here, the lighthouse, mate. So, The scene up there is actually really awesome, and of course it plays into the light mechanic of the cats. They can't go in the light. They're always hiding from it. When they use their flashlights, you never see cats, really. And maybe you get a glimpse at them, but no, because they move away from the light. They don't like the light, obviously. We get a very gross and creepy scene when they reveal what the cats actually look like, because they can't hide from a giant spotlight, can they? No. And it's a very awesome scene. They're mutants, like it says in the back of the book, so it ain't really a shock, but still. It is pretty awesome, pretty gross to actually get a description of what they look like. And it's just a very nice scene. There's a couple really creepy endings in there. I think one where the place, like, overflows with water somehow. Yeah, the tip of a fucking lighthouse overflows with water. I think because of rain or something. Either way, pretty fucking awesome. Surprisingly, I'm not going to be heavy on this one. I'm not going to go into extreme explicit detail, but overall, this is my only downside, and it takes off a lot from the book. It's really mid, like, overall. So not only are all the endings, I mean every single one in this book, just mid or, like, fine at best, but also the story, well, at least execution-wise, was just okay, mid-ish. Nothing in the story stuck out besides those two scenes I mentioned with the animatronics and the tip of the lighthouse. That was really, really awesome. Besides that, nothing stuck out in this book. It's just the typical GYG stuff, but not as good, it feels. This book does not have many settings, so it's literally 80% of the book is in a lighthouse. It's not very fun. Well, actually, more like 70, forgot about this beach plot. But even that's not that great. I also didn't really find the keeper cat thing very interesting. The book was just really, really mid. Just nothing really stuck out besides those two scenes, like I mentioned. Yeah. Like I said, this book is pretty dang mid, with only a couple things that I really thought stuck out, specifically scenes, and of course the concept. Everything else is just flat, basic GYG stuff, but not as good as per usual. And honestly, this is one of the weaker GYGs, like I believe I said in the intro. But it's still not horrible, but it's still relatively mid, like overall. Nothing really stuck out here. So I'm going to give this book a 6 out of 10. Like I keep saying, pretty mid, nothing really crazy about it, only a couple scenes. But there was some interesting stuff here, but I think some people might like more than others. And yeah, that's my review for Night of a Thousand Claws, my first Black Spine review. Tell me what you think of this book below. Do you think it's horrible like a lot of people say, or rather bad? Or do you like it? And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.